It never ceases to amaze me, the level of double standard in the world today. If a black man shot someone, even in self-defense, and was crucified by the media the way the domestic terrorist group otherwise styled as Black Lives Matter has done to law enforcement officers in recent months, there would be riots. But then again, a white law officer shoots a black man in self-defense, or in the tragic case of Houston, is shot to death by an angry black man, and they riot anyway. They scream for justice for Trayvon, when George Zimmerman is assaulted and pummeled by an angry black youth, and a young man with a huge black chip on his shoulder, a chip people like you, Black Lives Matter, has put there. You have told your children all their lives that Whitey hates them, that whites want to kill them or put them in jail. You cause them first to fear, then hate whites. This is racist on its face, but the boomerang effect of this is that they become militant, commit crimes against whites, and wind up getting themselves killed and causing whites to look on your people with hatred, and their actions all too often get young black people killed. You claim to carry the bloody hoodie of Trayvon Martin, but where were you when he was taking gangsta glamour photos, flashing gang signs and weapons and making obscene gestures like the thug he was slowly becoming while you were busy doing something else? Face it, black community, you dropped the ball. And even this is dwarfed by the recent massacre of law enforcement officers in Dallas by an angry young black man, fueled by rhetoric not unlike that of that fed Trayvon Martin and Alton Sterling. He killed 5 cops. And even in this, an act of obvious cold-blooded murder, BLM and Obama and the race baiters and the mainstream media continue to defend the black community's anti-white narrative. Justice belongs to all men, or it belongs to none. If you are going to protest the death of Trayvon Martin because you feel a young man was released unnecessarily from this mortal coil, then you should be outraged that one of your own has killed 5 men in cold blood. All this truly accomplishes is revealing your outright racism to the world. And the mainstream media, realizing that tragedy sells papers, as it were, realizing that tragedy equals Nielsen ratings, is quick to encourage this. Have you ever pondered just why the media, who once would not have allowed a black person on television, suddenly fawns over everything you do, whether it is a sitcom or a massacre? Here's a little secret, black community. They are using you. They are writing their checks all the way to the bank on the blood of your youth, and you are handing them the pen to write it with. You see, your allies in the media don't want you to do well either. Stories set in ghettos make for good atmosphere. Stories about crime and death and violence sell better than people planting flower gardens in vacant lots, or young people making money delivering groceries or working in soup kitchens, or any productive activity. Sex, death, and money, that is, as Alice Cooper says, the gospel here in Dragontown. Race relations, as it were, is much akin to a pendulum. Right now it swings in the direction of the race baiters, the black militants, and the criminal conspirators of Black Lives Matter. Take great care how you treat people different from yourself, black community. When the pendulum swings the other way, and it will, the results for you could be tragic indeed, and you could well find yourselves return through the days of your hatred to the days of Mississippi burning. You may not realize it, but your actions, the riots, the general mayhem, misbehavior, and violence, are the best recruiting agents groups like the Aryan Nation and the Ku Klux Klan ever had. People who were indifferent about race before are leaning into antipathy towards you and all that you do, and why. It's not because white people are evil or any other such nonsense. It's because you have behaved like hooligans, thugs, and criminals, disrupted infrastructure, spilt blood, and made a nuisance of yourself, and that race you claim to defend has your own actions as its own worst nemesis. Think about that, Dr. Von Mad. Von Mad's Venom, signing off.